Since I started backpacking about 2.5 years ago, I've been trying to basically decrease my overall pack weight. When I first started, I was using very heavy items, and my overall pack weight for a 5-day trip was about 62 pounds. So about 8 months ago, I started putting all my gear on a spreadsheet and trying to identify the heavy items and see if I can look for lighter alternatives. And based on that, I was able to go out on my last 5-day trip with a 29-pound pack weight. I did a lot of reviews on my last trip on certain items that I used, certain items that I didn't use, and I was thinking I can bring my base weight, which I started out on that trip at around 16.5 pounds. I think I could drop it down to about 10 pounds, maybe lighter. So what I did was, again, I went back to the spreadsheet. I took a look at what was heavy, what are items that I didn't use, and what items now that I didn't really essentially need, but it was nice to have. So I'm just going to do a few things on what I got rid of, some lighter alternatives, and I got to about 12 pounds. I then turned to a forum called hammockforums.net, and I threw it out there saying, yo, this is what I got. This is any options I can go lighter to bring down my pack weight to about 10 pounds. And those guys were very helpful, so I'm going to go over some things that they also recommended that were excellent recommendations. So maybe we can help you out if you're trying to lighten your load. I guess start from the beginning. Originally used the Ultralight circuit. I've now downgraded to the Ultralight Ohm pack. It's about 12 ounces lighter than the circuit, so it saves me almost a pound. Hip pockets, a little bit smaller, but the side pockets are much bigger. So I'm able, wherever I don't fit in here, I can fit in here. It's very similar to the circuit as far as the outside components. Mesh back, still relatively the same, except this mesh is stretchier than the circuit. The circuit is kind of like a standard mesh, which doesn't stretch at all, but it's very bellowed. This isn't very bellowed, but again, it does stretch a little bit. That's basically it. Much lighter, padding's fine, and the overall construction from Ultralight equipment is actually awesome. So I really can't complain about that. Let's see here. My sandals. The sandals I took out with me on my trek were 18 ounces. That was over a pound. I was looking for lighter alternatives, and I came across the Vibram 5 Fingers. These together are 8 ounces, 8.6. So that saves me roughly about 10 ounces, which is getting close to a pound. So it looks like I almost saved almost 2 pounds just by those 2 changes alone. My rain gear. I'm going to switch to wearing a kilt. I think I can pull it off, and it also saves me a lot of weight when I'm walking too. So what I did was from Ultralight, I got the Ultralight rain wrap, which basically is ripstop nylon, goes around your waist. And this also can double as some sort of a ground sheet, so I can put my gear on when I sleep in my hammock at night. Rain pants were, I guess they were running about 8 ounces. Bottom portion of these, 3 ounces. So good savings right there. I also got rid of the packer. The packer is a great piece of kit. It acts as a rain jacket, acts as a pack cover, and it stops rain from getting between your back and your pack. But I was sweating to death in it. Also, it was very difficult to use when it's raining already and I have to take my pack off to put my shelter up. I have to do some maneuvering just to get my pack off and my rain jacket off, so it leaves me exposed. There are ways around it. It was kind of annoying. Also, the moisture you build up in the rain jacket transfers to the pack, and if you're wearing it for an extended period of time, the moisture builds up in the pack, and it kind of gets the outside of the pack a little wet as well, just from the moisture that you build. So I was tossing up, it was 13 ounces. Some forum members mentioned that there was other options. Some are diehard Packer fans. I wasn't a true diehard Packer fan, so I actually ended up selling it and give it for someone who actually would use it. So the alternatives I went with was the anti-gravity gear Ultralight rain jacket, which is just 1.1 sil nylon made into a rain jacket, 5.4 ounces, and the pack cover is a Cuban fiber pack cover, which is, Cuban fiber seems to be the latest and greatest lightweight material from zpacks.com. This weighs 0.8 ounces after I cut off this little strap that I really didn't need. And this weighs, how much does this weigh? .6 ounces. So Packer, 13 ounces. This is 5.5 ounces. So it was a no-brainer. So hopefully this jacket works out well. It's not seam sealed. If you want to seam seal it, you have to seam seal it yourself. I talked to the guy, Tin Man, over at Anti-Gravity Gear. He says he hasn't seen any problems if you don't seam seal it, so give it a shot. Only a true field test will really tell me how it's doing. My pack towel weighs a little bit too much. It was about 4 ounces. So I went with something smaller because I didn't really need much. And this is 1.6 ounces. This is MSR. They call it a hand towel, but this is basically really all you need. Maybe even half of this. High absorbent material. Sticking with Cuban fiber, I went with the Cuban fiber food bag, about 13 liters. This is from Granite Gear. This weighs 0.6 ounces. My other food bag was weighing at 2.4 ounces, so there's savings right there. When you get down to your base elements, you really have to look at your gear and just look for a small savings, because if you get 10 or 15 items, then you can just go lighter, 1, 2, 4 ounces lighter. It ends up knocking out 4 or 5 pounds. This is the new potty trowel that I'm going to be using. It's 1.4 ounces as opposed to that crap axe that a lot of people were making fun of me with, which weighed about 4.5 ounces. This is kind of small. In the pictures, this is the Montbell potty trowel, handy scoop, whatever it's called. It looked bigger. I thought it was going to be about the size of my hand as far as the scoop wise. When I got it in the mail, this little dinky thing showed up. So I don't know. I may even just get rid of the 1.4 ounces this is and just go with digging a hole with a stick. I don't know. Vargo titanium shepherd hook steaks as opposed to my MSR steaks. All 6 weigh about 1.7 ounces, where the other steaks that I was using with 6 steaks was weighing at about 3.5 ounces. The biggest decision I had to make was my saw. I use this thing every trip, no doubt. This thing weighs 4.5 ounces. It's a luxury item. I don't need it. It's nice to have it. I use it every trip. I'm going to try and not use it next trip and save 4.5 ounces. I love this thing. Did I mention I love this thing? This thing is awesome. But it's one of those hard decisions you want to make and have to make based on your comfort level and what you're willing to give up. And I'm going to let it go. It may come back. It's definitely coming back for the winter.